KNUS Denver, a Salem Media Group station. He's out of bed and dressed. What more do you want? Peter Boyles on 710 KNUS.
I got some unexpected pleasures this morning. 710 KNUS, we're Denver's talk station. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Tuesday morning, March the 14th, 2017. I'm Peter Boyles. Have everyone here. The weather goes like this. 70 will be the high today. Wednesday, 73. Thursday, 75. Friday, 67. Quickly, a couple of things. As I mentioned, the St. Patrick's Day party will be a hoot. It's Thursday night. And then we are getting an opportunity to do something that I never thought we would do. We're going to be going to Europe, and it's a tour, but we'll be standing on Omaha Beach, June the 6th. Anniversary ceremony is a D-Day, and it's just an amazing once-in-a-lifetime, and everything will be taken care of for us. And go to the website, 710knus.com, and it's there. So this morning, I'm walking down the hall, and I turn around, and there's Billy Thorpe and Jimmy and the one and only, the legend, Woody Vincent. And I said, before you leave, you have to come in. We have to say good morning and talk on the air. And George is here as well, but and let me punch you up there. It's so good to see you. And I said, Rick Barber's funeral, the late Rick Barber, radio talk show host at KOA, was the last time I saw you, and you spoke for Rick. And I said to myself, and I think I actually said to you, when it's my turn, I want you up there saying some things. You were splendid. Jensen was splendid. The guys who stood up and spoke for Rick.
Yeah, Lanny Garrett
was there. I mean, what? And again, there was not one management person from Clear Channel came to it.
That was such a shame because Rick was like the big brother I never had, and I just really loved him. And when he died, it just broke my heart. I remember his son called me early that morning when he passed away. It was a summer morning, I think late June, and I got a call about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was just broken up. I was just in tears. And, I mean, I've had two brothers die. Yeah. And they did not have the effect on me that Rick did, but he was a great guy. And I will tell you this: we were playing golf in Las Vegas, and Rick, he had a strong veneer. He didn't really let it show. And for about 30 seconds, he broke down and he said, "I don't know what I'm going to do," because they had given him the axe at Clear Channel, and that was what he lived for. He wanted to die on the air.
Well, what happened, and again, there's been a change in the regime, but those guys, and this was not Lee Larson, and because Lee Larson was the finest man probably I've ever known in my life.
No doubt, yeah.
But it was after Lee, the people that, and I got fired for getting fired. I mean, it's all right. But with Ricky, and Ricky was doing all nights. He'd done all night since Noah put the Ark in low gear at KOA. Yeah. And he came over, and I knew it was coming, and he came over and he said, but, he did the big but. He said, I'm the DH. I'm going to be the designated hitter. I'm going to do voiceovers. I'm going to be in and out of here all the time. Peter, when you go on vacation, I'm going to get your show.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it. They never called him.
Never happened. It's like Babe Ruth waiting for the call to manage the Yankees.
Thank you. I hadn't thought of that, but that's right on the money. And he waited and he waited and he waited, and the phone never rang.
Just heartbreaking.
And that was them.
Yeah.
That was them. The people that zipped him with these promises. Oh, you'll be back. And he came over, and I said, he did an hour with me. I did 5 to 6. He was done at 5. And he came across the hall and sat down, and we told stories. Like Ricky always had great stories. And he said, nah, man. I said, I'm going to miss you. But we're sitting off air, and I said, all these years, Ricky, because he was a BZ guy.
Yeah.
And he said, nah, Peter. He said, he said, man, when are you going on vacation? I said, a month and a half. He said, I'll be here doing the show. I said, okay, because that's what they promised.
Yeah.
Me. And he went out gracefully.
Yeah, he did. I got to tell you about Rick. That guy could light a cigarette in a hurricane.
Oh, I mean, stories of when radio was, as they say, and you were part of that. I met you and Jim, but the late Bob Lee, my mentor. We did the morning show on KLAK Radio, first hit show, and you guys hired us. You guys were doing waterbed ads for Big Sur.
That's right, Big Sur waterbeds.
Yeah, where was Big Sur? How many locations to serve you?
Exactly.
No, but it was like, and water beds were in, and
the lava lamps and
couldn't love it enough.
Everything but the bong. That should have been their slogan.
That's what. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, and I think I was kidding somebody the other day. We were talking when the Four Seasons was that big country place east of Aurora, and Bob and I were on a roll with country, and outlaw country had hit.
Yeah.
Merle Haggard came to town. They said, "You guys want to MC Merle?" I said, "You kidding me?"
Sure.
Of course, that line of "We don't smoke marijuana."
That's changed.
That's changed. It's not holding up, Merle.
That's right. In Muskogee.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we moved on to crack.
That's right. Nobody said we don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee. Merle,
update.
You got a minute? Not so fast, Merle. But Merle was great. I love Merle, and Merle Haggard and the Strangers. Love Merle Haggard, but I thought, wait a minute, I thought you guys didn't do that.
It's funny. I loved country more when it was kind of the gut bucket. When you had Merle Haggard, and you had, I mean a big, Hank Williams or Buck Owens.
Oh.
I loved that old country.
Buck owned radio stations.
Yeah.
And he owned them in like Sacramento or something.
Sure.
Stockton.
Yeah.
You had to be tough to do that.
Yeah.
But, we got to meet those guys. And we were on a roll back then, and they'd come to town, and they'd say, hey, would you guys go out and MC Jerry Lee or Waylon Jennings?
Yeah.
And of course, that was a time. You worked on that radio station.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
we
guys
worked at KLAK with you guys. Yeah. We did the Saturday show.
Yeah.
We did 10 to... No, 2 to 7, I think.
Whatever
2 to
you...
7, yeah.
Whatever,
I can't remember.
When I got there.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike was there. Uncle Mike McEwen.
Yeah.
Lindsay English, LJH.
That's right. Uncle Mike, what's...
Mike's around, someone said.
Yeah.
I spoke at Bob's funeral, and Mike was there.
He was one of the most creative guys in all of radio.
Anybody.
Yeah.
But he was, and that was when radio was really radio, and physical violence was not an abstract thought. I got fired for what? We used to see that every day, and so that was all part of it. But it's so good to see you. And tell me what you're doing now.
Well, I sold my ad agency years ago,
Yeah.
and then I was doing a show on
You
another...
thought you were going to live, and then
yeah, exactly. Then I realized I need the money.
Yeah.
And so then I did a show called Business for Breakfast on
I remember that.
on
Sure.
1060.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I wrote a book that was kind of related to that, and that sells a little bit here on Amazon. And now I just kind of play golf, and I've got some investments that I tend to and that kind of stuff. And I was actually over at your sister station, 1690, sitting in for Jimmy Sengenberger for an hour, and that was fun. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'll do it.
We were talking about. I wanted to do this, and I got away from it. Maybe we can do it again. Is once a month or twice a week, twice a month. Get somebody like you, plop them in the studio, and say, tell stories.
Yeah.
Because it's all getting away. It's
yeah.
I went to Bob Prangley's funeral. We talked about that. Bob hired you. Bob hired me. Bob's now gone. All the stories with Bob are gone. And, those guys are still out there, some of them. And it'll get away if we don't. And that really wasn't the great era of top 40. That's, you get a guy like Hal Moore.
Yeah.
That really, best disc jockey I probably ever heard in my life was Hal Moore. And Hal's around.
Yeah. Yeah, he's working at 93.7 The Rock.
Yeah, he's Bob. He's working.
Yeah, he's tireless. And what a nice guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. And those guys are still around. They're still, before all those stories get away.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, because there isn't, I don't know what happens, but they're there. Come by. We're doing a St. Pat's.
I'll do it. Pete, you look great.
No, you too. We're doing a St. Patrick's thing on Thursday night. Walk in.
Okay.
I'll introduce you. Hey, guy.
I wish I could. Is it this
Thursday night?
I'm starting the Lone Tree Police Academy, Citizen Police Academy. Thursday night's our first class.
Do they have any idea?
yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
Don't do a background check.
No. Wait a minute. And here's one for you. I'll just name the group, and you tell me who they were. Clifford Smallwood and the Pinheads.
Yeah, Clifford Smallwood and the Pinheads. This was Jim Hunt and I.
Yeah, Jimmy Hunt.
Yeah, we had this fake, and we do it multi-track, so we could have it. We do a little fake country western band and make up little parody songs.
And they were called Clifford Smallwood and the Pinheads. And they did our song, the Ballad of Bob and Peter.
Yeah.
And I have one copy of the Clifford Smallwood and the Pinheads someplace, and
yeah, I think we probably still have about 50 that. Do
you really?
On the 45.
There were shirts. It's all the stuff, and it's all gone. I have one picture of Bob and I, and it was the first time. Actually, I was on a cab back as a traffic reporter, but they took out these billboards, and Bob and I are sitting on cows, and with cowboy hats on, and chaps, and sitting on cows, and it was like it was our billboard for that show.
Yeah,
and that show was it was Animal House on the radio show, and it was nuts. But we went from like number 29 in the market to like number 2 in the market overnight, and I had no ability to handle any of that. And that was the great fun of it all. And
drinks on the house, Bob said, and put it on Peter's tab.
That's true. That's a Bob Lee, man. That's an old man. He was something, and I think about him a lot.
Yeah.
He knew.
He's a great guy.
He was a Detroit jock.
Yeah.
He was a top 40 jock, knew Stevie Wonder. He knew. I mean, when people talk about Hitsville, USA, Bob jocked when that happened. And he went through the scandals, and he had stories when they were bribing guys to play music. And the mob came around. He saw it all.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, really, really, really saw it. Because Detroit's a hit-making town.
Yeah.
And organized crime, and they were running the music business. And if you want to play, you can play. You don't want to play, you don't want to play. It's okay, too. But you'll play eventually. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you, Pete.
We'll book a time. And we could get Jim. We could get Jimmy and get a couple guys and have guys tell stories. But you guys were so spectacular for Rick. I mean, I never had a chance to say that. And that's special when somebody does that. And you stood up there and we're in this, like, it's a church, but it's part of the.
I think it's just a funeral.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
Hannity
and Stephen Tubbs emceed it and did a killer job. Stephen is the best.
Yeah, that's right.
And Stephen and Rick were tight, and you guys got up, and you killed Jensen too. Jim Jensen killed it.
Yeah.
And I saw him at an art thing. I said, man, I want you to know that what you did for Ricky that night, because Ricky had been, in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He was sick. And
right.
I went over and saw him at his birthday. We threw a birthday party.
Yes.
And you were there.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. Yeah,
Ricky's birthday party.
I thought, is that Joseph Kennedy or is it Peter Boyles? I couldn't quite tell who it was.
Is it the ambassador? But you look grand. You look good. I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing this.
Good to see you.
You too,
okay.
man. Thanks. All right. 303-696-1971. Couple of quick things. We'll come back. George is in studio. Step 13, now known as Step Denver. When you're ready to donate a car, truck, a motorcycle, boat, or RV, there's no finer nonprofit than Step Denver. It's where, again, they rebrand. Step Denver is Step 13, men's residential recovery community. They say low income. I saw miracles. The guys off the streets and changed their lives and overcome addiction, rebuild their lives. Bob Cote knew it through sobriety and work and accountability. Step Denver believes a hand up, not a handout. And employment, stay sober, and work. Ugh, how tough is that, right? Instead of the insanity of Hickenlooper and Hancock, the rest of these fools. They accept no government funding. STEP helps generate support, makes its own money. Donate a vehicle, a car, a boat, a motorcycle. If you need some hard work done, if you actually want to talk to somebody about somebody in your family, 303-296-9020, stepdenver.org. Donate online, hard work. These guys are your guys. Donate anything, help your great program. Think Step Denver, 303-296-9020 today.
Weather this hour brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less and keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Just one highway crash eastbound I-70 after Pecos has been cleared to the right shoulder. Off highway, that earlier wreck southbound Kipling at 38, that's been cleared out of the way. Still residual backups, especially on I-70, but it is improving. This report brought to you by the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver. Purchase your Dream House raffle ticket benefiting Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver by March 17th to be entered in the early bird drawing for a trip to Australia. Visit milehighraffle.com. I'm Pete Wagner, 710 KNUS. First Alert Traffic.
Are you embarrassed by your smile? Are you unable to eat the foods you love, afraid to laugh, afraid to live a normal life, even afraid to go out in public? Dr. Barrett's with Barrett's Dental here. I believe that you deserve a smile that you can be proud of so you can live your life the way you want, with the peace of mind that you can smile without embarrassment and that your mouth is healthy. At Barrett's Dental, we want to help you get your life back. I invite you to my office for a free consultation where you can find out for yourself if you are comfortable at Barrett's Dental. We offer total dental solutions, meaning we can handle all of your dental care in one convenient location without referring you all over town. If you feel safe at Barrett's Dental, it's the last place you'll need to visit to get the care you need. Is the condition of your mouth causing you to live a life of quiet desperation? Call me. I'll take great care of you.
If you're looking for a safe place to take care of all your dental needs, call Barrett's Dental at 303-502-5527 or visit denverdentist.com.
Gosh, it's hot in here. Did that toaster catch on fire?
It wasn't that. You choked on that bite of burnt bagel.
Why is everything all red? The heat is unbearable. Where am I?
Excuse me, Your Dishonor. May I step in on behalf of my client?
Mr. Silverman, proceed. Tell me one redeeming good thing your client did.
He was a faithful listener to my radio show.
Not good enough.
He had decency and compassion for his family. He did end-of-life planning with Michael Bailey.
The Michael Bailey? That is kind to your loved ones. That is smart and way too decent for this place. Your client can go.
And what about me, Your Despicableness?
Why should I?
Michael Bailey is my lawyer, too.
Go on then. Get out of here.
Now, part of that was serious and part of that was fictional. But you will die someday, and if you don't make a legal plan, the government will make one for you. Call my lawyer, Michael Bailey. His rates are reasonable, and he can meet with you and your spouse wherever you want and on weekends and evenings. 720-394-6887 or online at mblawllc.com.
If you owe back taxes, there's a lot you need to know, starting with rule number 1. Don't mess with the IRS. They're cracking down this year by sending out heart-stopping letters, actively garnishing paychecks, levying bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. That's all true, but there's a way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, an important government program for tax debt assistance. It's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. You could qualify for a tax settlement that saves you thousands, even tens of thousands. Nobody knows this program like the experts at Optima Tax Relief. They have an A-plus rating with the BBB and will work to get you the best deal possible. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima for a free consultation.
Call 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles for Step 13. Now Step Denver. Been a board member since Bob Cote began this almost 30 years ago. Step Denver is a recovery program that gives men the tools to overcome addiction, become self-sufficient, tax-paying citizens through sobriety, hard work, and accountability. Donate your vehicles, providing resources to help men get their lives back. 303-296-9020. Step Denver. Donate online, stepdenver.org. Call the man up, 303-296-9020 today.
Remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. On the road, at the beach, or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business. Get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone with our iPhone and Android apps. Features include multiple extensions for your team, calls forwarded to your mobile phones, voicemails transcribed and emailed, and so much more. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
More stimulating talk with Peter Boyles on 710 KNUS.
All bird music all the time. Bobby Day, I remember this. Rockin' Robin. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Like my woodpecker. J. Bird Street. Love to hear the robin going tweet, tweet, tweet. Big drums. That's out of the 50s. Rockin' Robin. I got your Rockin' Robin. Got your problem with your woodpecker, with your flicker. Morning, everyone. Tuesday, March 14th, 2017. I'm Peter Boyles. 70 the high today, motorcycle weather, but I got a packed house. 73 Wednesday, Thursday, 75. Medved time. March is the month for massive Medved events. And right now, enjoy low financing new Cadillacs, CTSs, ATSs, XTSs, CT6s, all-wheel drive models, iconic all-wheel drive Cadillac Escalades. And because of a limited time, Medved Cadillac can offer low interest rates for a variety of terms, competitive prices, and all the new Cadillacs. Only well-qualified buyers, which means not everyone can qualify. Plus, John has exciting lease opportunities, purchase offers for just about everything in stock, including the latest equipment of 2017 Cadillacs. You can view lease, purchase offers, low financing, MedvedCadillac.com. Every Cadillac Medved sells features a 4-year, 50,000-mile, no-deductible bumper-to-bumper warranty. You find about every Cadillac in Medved snow-fighting all-wheel drives competitively priced. It's during Medved's massive event. See the man, Medved Cadillac, John and Debbie Medved. I-70 Wheat Ridge. You exit Kipling, you exit Ward, but exit the John Medved Autoplex. Shop online, medvedcadillac.com. This young man and we have become close friends. I love him dearly. Did a little bit of traveling together. But as you know, George Anthonopoulos, and you pick out the name how you want to. And this run for the Republican Party chairmanship. And he's in studio, and they try to drop a piano on you. As well they should. Remember, I don't want to get out of line here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
I haven't seen you. I've been talking to you a lot. Now, as you know, when is the election?
It's April 1st.
So it's coming.
It's coming up just a couple weeks.
So George, of course, people know 4 tours in Iraq. He challenged Ed Perlmutter for the congressional seat. Did really well. I mean, you did terrific in an uphill fight.
We didn't win, but we got more votes than any Republican has in the history of the 7th Congressional District. So I'm proud of what we did.
You drew blood, as they say. You drew blood. And so now, who will be the head of the party? And talk about all of this jockeying and what's going on.
So right now, and the race up until this morning was 3 people. And since I arrived at the studios, it's down to 2 people now. A gentleman from Mesa County named Kevin, he has dropped out of the race. So it's myself and Jeff Hayes who are running for the chairmanship of the Colorado Republican Party.
Yeah. And now what?
Now we're just in the blitz. Last couple weeks of campaigning, driving all over the state. I'll be down in Pueblo today, going down to La Plata County tomorrow. It's Alamosa. It's going to be a good time. Lots of travel involved.
What's going to happen?
I'm going to win.
Well, and we had Jeff Hayes on the radio show, and he's a likable guy. I mean, I don't want to be like this guy Steve House because he's not. He's a good guy, and so it isn't like, but it's about the money and the power and who's going to run the party.
Well, it is about the money and the power to a certain extent, but you have to think about it. And my opponent, Jeff. What he says, though, is he uses the same argument that the liberals use, the teachers' unions, because it's money is everything. So money equals outcomes. Well, that's what the teachers' unions say. No, you have to have a plan. You have to have principle. You have to enact it. You have to do all kinds of things to win elections. Mm-hmm. It's not just we'll have more money and therefore we'll have more victory. It doesn't translate.
Why didn't Colorado deliver Donald Trump?
Oh, wow.
Well, we've talked about this so many times.
We've talked about it, but there are multiple reasons. And you know Tammany, you know history, you know counterinsurgency theory, you know all these things. We as Republicans are not in the local communities building a relationship over time. And in that, we show up 6 weeks before Election Day. Mm. We open an office. We say, hey, we're here for you. And then we leave the day after the election. It's transparently self-serving, and over time, it builds resentment in the communities we're trying to get to vote for us.
Do they have anything to do with Casper now that Casper ran against DeGette? He made some inroads into what people say the black community. He's black Republican. I never understood that, but nevertheless he was. And what has the party done with Casper since that happened?
As far as I know, nothing. See? However, Casper on his own.
Oh, I know.
Seeds of Dignity Coalition, I think that's fantastic.
I know. And so, again, when Indiana, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin come in for Trump.
Michigan
comes in for Trump. And I know it's a broken record, but Steve House led the Republican delegation in a walkout in Cleveland, the only Republican delegation in America, or I should say in the United States of America, to walk out off the floor and walk out because of Trump was Steve House and the Colorado State Republican Party. Now, you want me to be a member of that.
I do. Peter, don't shake your head. Listen, the most important part about what the chairman does is the chairman is the figurehead of the party. He speaks for the party. She represents the party out in the community. Now, we have to be, as a Republican Party, besides we have to be in in these communities, in these neighborhoods. We have to build enduring relationships, but the party must be an honest broker.
Yeah.
And this is why you saw so much fracas in the media about my saying, using the term elite.
They are.
I am of the opinion that the Republican Party, the party apparatus itself, should not pick winners and losers.
Agreed.
It should be an honest broker.
Agreed.
So,
but it isn't.
It's not. No.
No.
But it should be, and that's what Republicans expect. And when I'm elected, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure the party is completely neutral in the primaries, to make sure that there is no, undermining of candidates, either directly or indirectly, that we will be what we always say we are, but in practice aren't quite. So we will be honest brokers. And that's why you see all these articles coming out about, I'm anti-establishment, I am anti-this, I'm anti-that.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm against is playing favorites. What I represent is being an honest broker, not picking winners and losers.
We got a half an hour. 303-696-1971. Would you tell this man why you're not a Republican? Would you tell him what's wrong with his party? I'm serious. I mean, open the phones up, 303-696-1971. Tell us why you're not a Republican, why you voted for Trump, and why you're not a Republican. I'm not a Republican. Donald Trump here's a question for you. Do you think anybody that's biologically a Bush voted for Trump?
No.
No. Okay. So, do you think that Mike Kaufman voted for Donald Trump? He took out ads against Trump. Cory Gardner called Trump a buffoon. Cory Gardner took out ads and said, I will stand up to Donald Trump, which was laughable for the 9,000th time. You don't stand up to Obama. I mean, why do you,
listen, if we're going to be successful in the state of Colorado, if we are going to defeat the Democrats, if we are going to enact sane, rational policies, Republicans have to win. The only way we win is if we stop with the nonsense. We have to.
You got a shot at the governor's job right now. I mean, he's out. It's called a double-double. There's nobody. It's going to be a vacant seat.
Mm-hmm. We have a shot.
You have a shot.
And we are going.
Not with these guys. Let's say some calls.
All right.
Hey, Wally, you're on the show. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Good morning. Wally, you're up. Do. Wally?
No, the woodpeckers got him.
Woodpeckers got him.
Yeah, they got him.
I know. Wally's got to be there. Wally, you there? Hey, Wally, there you go. Wally? We lost him. We're clearing up calls here. 303-696-1971. We got a glitch in the thing. Casey's clearing calls. Why aren't you a Republican? What would it take? Casey says he's going to get him. All right. We went through a little power thing there. 303-696-1971 lines are open. Tell George why you want nothing to do with his party. I'm serious. I don't want anything to do with it. Why would I want to be part of? Casey, do you want to be a Republican? I mean, we love Casey. He's
after this election, I was a Republican. I changed. I'm an independent. I can't do it. Just can't do it.
I mean, you guys got to wake up and smell the coffee.
But let's back the train up.
Right.
Why was Donald Trump possible?
Because the Republican Party is so screwed.
If the Republican Party had kept its promises to its members, the people who voted for Republicans, Donald Trump never would have happened. He never would have been necessary.
I don't believe that for a second. Yeah, Case. Then
Part of the problem, too, is, for me, is the arrogance and the attitude of the Republican Party.
Please.
What they did here in the state, and then to move on, and then you still have people acting like they did nothing wrong. It makes me sick to my stomach.
The never-Trumpers. The man is the Republican President of the United States. There's still these idiot never-Trumpers. All right, we go to Arthur on line one. Phones are getting through now. I apologize. Hey, Art, good morning, man.
Hey, Mr. Boyles, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Would like to touch briefly on both the Republican and the Democratic Party because the way I see it, the Democratic Party is currently a party without a country, and the Republican Party is currently a party that's on the verge of losing their base.
Can I interject? The Democratic Party is now a socialist workers' party, European style. The Republican Party doesn't have a clue what it is.
Absolutely. That's the Republican Party is made up of opportunists who are currently have their heads spinning trying to figure out a path forward. And the best path forward from someone who is never been involved politically is these folks need to start listening or they'll continue to lose. The Republican Party did not win in 2016. Donald Trump won in 2016.
Exactly.
They're riding his coattails, and if he wants to finish them, that's possible over the next 4 years.
We talked about this yesterday. I'm going to write about it this morning and bring it back about this attack on Trump, this concerted, multi-leveled attack. And two of the variables, I believe, are the Republican Party itself and the so-called establishment will do anything they can to destroy Trump. Before I go to the guest, Arthur, do you believe that?
Wholeheartedly. I actually called in and got waited out yesterday on the topic of deep state, which wraps into the term you just referenced of establishment.
Absolutely.
My comments yesterday were, I think you're a reader, and that's why I enjoy listening to you. I consider myself a reader, too, and the importance of language is vital to any conversation. The establishment, the deep state, and going back to early 20th century, the term New World Order, has all been muddled to the point that I feel like we have no idea who we're even discussing anymore, and it's all related.
I agree. All right, let me go to George. Your thoughts?
The deep state, that is real.
Yeah.
That is real. And if you look at the Republican Party, you have your own deep state there in the party. You have the political class, the consultant class. You have the people who've been involved who make their living off of the party, politics, and campaigning. In my race, what I have seen is that they are terrified that I might actually win because I am an outsider. I'm not a card-carrying member of the political class or the consultant class. Now,
may I interject?
Of course.
My question here is what do you do when you win? Because we've elected outsiders before who then go on to accept the current status quo as the only
He's right.
foreseeable limitations of operations. That needs to be entirely destroyed, and government needs to be returned to the people and the individuals. There's no reason for a ruling class in 2017. The internet has neutralized communication. Information travels faster today than it has ever traveled in the history of mankind. Why there's a power hub in Washington, D.C. that regulates whether or not I can smoke marijuana or whether or not I can hire an employee is absolutely baffling. I'm 29 years old and have reached a point in my life where I'm trying to figure out how to make sense of the world. And you have a generation of people who are coming up in utter madness because the current leadership is straddled one leg on the past and one leg on retaining power into the future. And it doesn't work for anyone.
First of all, you're very bright and you get it. But when you realize that if it was going to be as destiny wanted it to be, it would have been Hillary Clinton versus Jeb Bush. That's what the establishment wanted. You're grinning, Absolutely. But you know it's true. Having said that, and it didn't matter who won.
No, and the reason that didn't happen
Donald
is because
Trump.
The fundamental tenet and a core belief of mine is that good will triumph over evil.
No, and I don't buy that at all. I mean, I'm into these new French relative thinkers who say the only reason there's good and evil is what we agree upon, and what power agrees upon is good. It's a great concept that's been turned in my head now for a couple of days. But the only thing that's big difference, what is good and evil, is what the power agrees on is good, and what the power.
Maybe at the collective level, but at the individual level,
it's Jungian. But let me come right back to where you were. These guys. I mean, when Donald Trump started jerking Jeb around in those, and he just crumbled Jeb. And I remember the morning or the week that he said, Jeb, tell me why your brother invaded Iraq. And for 5 straight mornings, you know this, Jeb gave him a different answer. And in the end, Jeb just folded.
Absolutely.
But they weren't expecting that question from Hillary. Little Marco, Lion Ted, those guys would have never asked that question because they're in the boys. They're part of the boys. They're part of the boys that lied and created a war. So Lion Marco, or what were they calling him? Or Little Ted? No, Lion Hillary. What did they call him? Little Marco, and what did he call Cruz? He called Cruz. He had a name for
Lion
Cruz.
Ted.
Lion Ted. You know what? They weren't going to ask that question. The guy who knocked Jeb out of the box was Trump.
It goes back to the thought has been conveyed by many people over time, but I attribute it to the late Andrew Breitbart, who was the first person I heard discuss rejecting the premises.
You bet.
Reject the premise. Don't accept the rules for the conversation. And bringing this full circle to George here, my question is, what is the path forward? We obviously have to play within the limitations of the current system, but once we get there, then how do we change it rather than become part of the swamp? And what is a tangible action you plan on taking to do that?
All right, thank you. Hold right there. First of all, great call. I'm going to hang on you. Thank you. First thing you do if you won.
I promise to conduct an audit of the state party.
Demand a recount.
And I will be also down at the General Assembly because I want a late bill delaying the implementation of Proposition 108, which is open primaries.
Sit there. 303-696-1971. A lot of email. Peter, it ain't a Ben Franklin air rifle. It's a Benjamin. Okay, I was calling them Ben Franklins. It takes its name from Walter Benjamin, a St. Louis man who introduced it in 1882 and founded the company bearing his name. It's now owned by Crossman. Unlike the Daisy BB guns of our misspent youth, the Benjamins were intended for hunting and pack a considerate punch. Yeah, I mean, that's what I got, so I thought it was Ben Franklin. There's Benjamins. All right. He's my guy, Brian Murphy. He'll be at the St. Pat's. And you can say, again, to buy a new home or to get a home, Front Range guys, Front Range Mortgage and Brian Murphy have your solution. 1% down payment on a new home program. And I mean, $3,000 is a $300,000 home. You need 1%. It could be gifted from relatives. All you need is a job and a good history of paying your bills. It just makes sense. Need fairly good credit to qualify, a 700 FICO score. If otherwise it makes sense to buy a home, they won't let you down. And again, the down payment, don't let it stop you. Front Range has options for lower credit down to the 500s, little higher down payment, 3.5%, still low. And I mean, it makes sense. Looking for a painless 5-minute conversation, talk to Murphy. And again, if you're at the point you're retiring and you have your home paid off and you hear people say, oh, you do this buy down mortgage and you can do this, you can do that. Talk to Murphy first on any and all levels. He's my friend. 303-500-1900, 303-500-1900. Visit them at frontrangemortgage.com.
The one big crash on the freeway system, westbound I-76, approaching Sheridan. A 4-car crash on the right shoulder causing some looky-loo backups. Slow speeds across southbound 225 between Parker and I-25. Southbound I-25 heavy as you approach Hamden. This report brought to you by Revive Water-Saving Fertilizer and Soil Treatment. Nothing will kickstart your lawn better than a heavy application of Revive and lots of snow. Apply Revive Water-Saving Fertilizer now to make spring storms work for you. For the best lawn, revive it today. Your lawn will love you. I'm Pete Wagner, 710 KNUS, First Alert Traffic.
Hi, it's Hugh here for Ridgegate Financial. Are you ready to retire? Do you have a plan for when the paychecks stop? My friend Wally Smith at Ridgegate Financial can help. Income planning is one of the 5 keys to a successful retirement. You've worked hard and you've saved, but now you need a very specific plan for when you access your Social Security and use each of your retirement assets. For your free Social Security analysis and personal retirement review, call Wally Smith at 303-PLANNER. That's 303-752-6637. 303-752-6637. Ridgegate Financial creates retirement plans to help make your retirement everything you've dreamed of, not just 20 to 30 years of unemployment. Your personal retirement plan will help you sail through stock market corrections, crashes even, with confidence. You need a plan for when the paychecks stop. For your free Social Security and personal retirement review, call Wally Smith at 303-PLANNER. That's 303-752-6637. Or visit ridgegatefinancial.com.
I'm Trina Webster.
And I'm Dan Webster, founders of Z Quiet. Let me be honest, I snored.
Yeah, he did. Crazy loud.
And I was forced to sleep on the couch most nights.
Dan tried everything, including surgery, to solve his snoring problem.
Nothing worked.
So he turned to experts and created a solution that's a total game changer. A mouthpiece called Z Quiet.
Not just any mouthpiece, one that gently opens the airway where the snoring happens. In fact, it's based on the same technology as treatments costing thousands of dollars.
It allows natural jaw movement so you can talk, breathe normally, and best of all, sleep comfortably without making a sound.
And what's really cool is that it couldn't be easier. Just pop it in before you go to sleep to kick snoring out of bed.
So you can sleep quiet
with Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women. Try it risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles. Ever wonder what the valuables you have are worth that are just sitting in your basement, the old jewelry box? Stop in and see my good friend David Ellis in Cherry Creek. Get instant cash, paid on the spot, those valuables you don't need anymore. David will beat any offer. He pays the highest prices in town for your gold, sterling silver, diamonds, your coins, your antique jewelry, wedding bands, Rolex watches. You could be sitting on a fortune. David will evaluate all your valuables for free. Your evaluations are quick and confidential. Park and walk in. Looking to buy a gift for somebody you really love? See David. Best prices on diamonds and jewelry. Located in Cherry Creek, 2640 East 3rd Avenue, 3rd and Clayton in Cherry Creek, or 303-322-8779. See David Ellis make money on the stuff that's been sitting in your storage. 3rd and Clayton in Cherry Creek, 303-322-8779. Instant cash on the spot for your valuables. See David Ellis in Cherry Creek today.
This is Dan Kaplis. A wise person once told me, if you don't have a seat at the table, you are going to end up on the menu. I think that applies directly to personal injury and wrongful death cases. If you're not represented by a highly accomplished law firm, the insurance company is probably going to eat you for lunch, and you'll never even know it. So if you want to make sure that you and your claim are treated with the respect you deserve, give me a call. We are a serious firm for serious cases. And for 30 years, we have proven our ability to go up against the best the other side has to offer and to win. Our personal injury clients include everyone from the poorest of the poor to CEOs, teachers, farmers, police officers, doctors, lawyers, and professional athletes. We are able to make the vast resources of our firm available to good people from all walks of life by taking righteous cases on a percentage fee basis. You can reach me at 303-770-5551. That's 303-770-5551 or dankapleslaw.com. That's dankapleslaw.com. Hey, join me for the Dan Kaplis Show starting right after Pete, 9 to 11 a.m., 710 KNUS.
Best show in the city coming up in 15 minutes. Kaplis. It's Tuesday, 14th of March. Got all these bird songs. We're rolling on these, man. That's Paul McCartney, isn't it? Yeah, Blackbird. 8:46, 14 before the hour.
That's my favorite Beatles song.
Is it? Woodpecker sitting in your tree. What's the bird that shows up before people die? Like in those old legends and myths of either hawks or not hawks, but it was ravens. Was it ravens that showed up before the... Look, it's a raven. Something. It's an ill omen. It's probably some Greek thing. Geico Littleton... it's never come back to you. The privilege of knowing Sandy Perkins and her family at Geico Littleton for several years now. There's no better time to get a quote on insurance. If you ever want to help save money on car insurance, contact Sandy or family of experts. But it's really an overall. I mean, this is what I like about them. You call them at 303-730-2426, 303-730-2426, and ask about any levels of insurance, car insurance and motorcycle insurance, umbrella policies, homeowners, renters insurance. Overlook everything, taking care of your identity. You're like, and again, this is your local Geico office. It's part of the tradition that's been saving people money for 75 years. Geico is the second largest personal auto insurer in the country. 21 million drivers. Today's forecast is savings. 15 minutes save you 15% or more. You heard that tagline, and it's true. Everybody knows it. Switch to Geico. Make the phone call and talk to Sandy and talk to the team. 303-730-2426. Let them do an overview. Everything that has to do with your insurance on any and all levels. Let them do the heavy lifting to give you a good answer. 303-730-2426. George is in studio. We go to Nick on line one. Nick, you're on a radio show. Good morning.
Hey, Peter. Hey, George. How you doing, bud?
Good. Hey, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, so quick question for you, George. Full transparency, I'm going to be down there on April 1st. I know George. I like him. But, George, I've been listening to you this morning. I have some questions. Just about the cost. I know you've looked at, what we have in the bank and what the new chair, whether it's you or Jeff, is going to be taking over. And so there's roughly about $50,000 in the state coffers right now. Now, with an audit, like you said, I mean, do you think people are going to be trustworthy as you're not coming into this with a slant to find something wrong? Do you get what I'm saying? So my concern there is the cost of hiring probably a third-party auditor, just so you can, be objective on your end. Plus, you and Jeff are both going to take a salary, whoever wins. And then the cost of the possible litigation for 108 and 107, which you talked about, our party is going to be broke in a month or two. So my concern is, I don't disagree with your plans, but the cost. So if you're elected, George, how do you plan to remedy that? Because we can't go belly up in 2 months, or that's going to be, the shortest tenure that we've seen in a state chair in a long time. So that's my question for George.
Listen, we have accountants, and one of them is Chris Cook. I'm going to say your name on the air, but she is a forensic accountant. In the past, she has volunteered to do a forensic audit on the party. We have capable people who are supportive of the party, who would be either helpful themselves or would refer us to somebody who could do an audit, and it would not cost $15,000 or the other figures I've heard bandied about. Second thing is, I do not want to have to sue the Secretary of State to prevent or delay the implementation of Proposition 108. The best alternative is a late bill down at the General Assembly that is free. If Republican legislators would get on board and co-sponsor, and the first person that we need buy-in from in order to prevent open primaries from coming to Colorado is Senate President Kevin Grantham. Now, in order to get a late bill, he has to co-sponsor with the Democrat. He has to go over to the Senate Minority Leader, and they both have to sign off on it. So that is also without cost. And I think that we can do the things I'm talking about. We can do it in a cost-conscious manner, and we can move forward. We can go in a new direction, because at the end of the day, this chairman's race is, do we want to continue what we have been doing and what we've always done in Colorado that has not led to success, or do we want to try and do something different?
I mean, because you guys are really talking inside baseball, maybe ask a question, Nick and George. Nick, how do I what's the pathway for me to return, or I never returned, but for me to become a Republican?
Well, I don't want to speak for George,
Speak
and
for yourself.
I respect George a lot,
For
but
yourself.
I think the problem that we've had is that, like George said, people feel as though they've been disenfranchised from the party, and I experienced this. I experienced this personally in my race as well. But I think maybe lowering the barrier to entry to be involved.
No, I mean,
on a state level. No, let me finish. Let me finish, Peter.
Right.
On a state level, because you can be a board member and all these frivolous positions at the county level, and then happens,
Nick.
Right?
I just want to register as a Republican with a clean spirit and with a true.
Nick, let me jump in here for a second.
Well,
Listen.
that's quite easy. You just go to the Secretary of
Yeah,
State's
I was about to say the Secretary of State's website. Here, we can punch it up. Hey, you have a driver's license number.
Quit it.
It'll take 5 minutes, Peter. You want me to help you?
I could go become a Klansman.
No, see, that's the problem with all of this, and I'm going to jump in here,
Thanks.
is everybody makes that joke.
No, it's
and
not.
this is the reason, reason right here why I left.
Thank
is because
you.
I get this inside baseball, and I
Thank
get
you.
this, we know better than you. This is, what about this? No, I'm tired of it, man. You tell me straight answer why I should come back to the party and give me an answer.
Yeah, wise ass answer. We go register.
For you.
Well, no, I'm not. Give me a reason.
Let me jump
you
in.
should not be a Republican.
Give me a reason.
That's a bad.
Because
I can't tell you a reason. I can tell you the people that are running and present the ideas.
I voted for Donald Trump and I voted for Casper, but not because I'm a Republican and they're Republicans. I voted for them as men, not because of their party affiliation. I would have voted for Casper and Trump if they were on the American Independent ticket.
But here's Peter and Case. We have a platform as a Republican Party. We are the party that stands up for limited government. We are the party that is pro-Second Amendment.
I can see that now.
Here's the thing. Too often, and the reason guys like you left the party is because we say these things, but we don't translate that into action. We compromise. We quibble. We do all of these things that cause people to lose trust in the party. And I will tell you that as chair, I will take the fight to the Democrats. We are going to be the party that people wish they had.
Right.
We're not going to be the party we used to have, the one that Donald Trump defeated.
He beat the party.
He beat the party.
Yeah, right.
We are not going to be that party. Donald Trump has shown us.
All right, let me add 2 cents, and I'll give everybody 1 second, and we got to break away. Having said this, I would not go near Steve House's Republican Party or the Beaupre's or any of the other people. Nick, take the last comment quick.
Yeah, well, not too much. George, thanks for answering honestly. Peter, thanks for having my call, and I appreciate the conversation, and hope you guys have a good day.
Hey, take care, Nick.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Listen, we can choose the party we've always had that has failed time and time again and that has failed to stand up not only for principle but against the Democrats, or we can choose a new direction. That's why I'm running for chair. I want to take the party in the direction it always should have been going in but hasn't.
Thank you, the Bushes. All right. And Doctor, no, you're wrong again. As always, 710 KNUS Front Range Preventive Imaging. The virtual colonoscopy March is Colon Awareness Month. And fast, accurate, no needles, easy prep, and it takes about 45 minutes. It's a virtual colonoscopy. You see more, both inside and outside the colon. Looks at the liver, or kidneys, and aortas, and 13 other organs in your lower torso, and it's covered by most insurance policies. It's crazy not to do it. Here we go. The virtual colonoscopy takes away all remaining excuses. These are our friends, Front Range Preventive Imaging, Dr. Blanchette. They're in Boulder. They do heart scans, and now, of course, March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. It's crazy not to do this. 303-443-7226. 303-443-7226. Make the appointment and go get it done. It's nuts not to. Call today, 303-443-7226. We'll say that again, Case, because Danny's coming up. It's
George, how can people help you out with your stuff?
This is an inside baseball election, but what you can do is call your Republican elected officials. Tell them to vote for me on April 1st. There are only about 500 people who vote in this race. But if you want to make a difference, the best way you can do to influence the outcome, call your Republican elected officials, tell them to vote for me.
All right, I got to read an email. Peter, politics in America, yada, yada, yada. And then she goes on to say, because I supported Lily Tang Williams at the expense of the better man, Daryl Glenn. Daryl Glenn stopped at our studio at our one time when we were in Cleveland and never came back. And we invited him on the show again and again, and he would not return his calls, would not come on the show. You caused Mr. Glenn to lose. Mr. Glenn got his ass kicked. And whether or not he had Lily Tang's votes or not, Daryl Glenn beat Daryl Glenn. And many others to vote at all. Thanks, comrade. You milquetoast FDR worshiping populist, moderate, and ask me what I really think. Ha. Signed, Dr. LK. Doctor, grow a pair some morning and call the radio show. I'd love to talk to you, but I caused Daryl Glenn to lose. Daryl Glenn caused Daryl Glenn to lose. All right, everybody, Dan Kaplan is next tomorrow morning at 5. Look at the website for St. Pat's. And, again, the man said scrape up the money and go to Europe with us in the end of May. I love this young man. He's terrific. We've been friends. We travel, and I know his family, and I could not think of a better guy to run this party. I want you to know that. So,
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it.
Bring me back, brother. All right, everybody. Danny's next.